Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to World War II In Depth. In today's episode, we're going to be reviewing the Gewehr 43, which is one of my favorite weapons from the Winter Siege pack, though it is somewhat less popular with the community. I've practiced my pronunciation a bit, so hopefully I'm saying the Gewehr properly and not butchering it too bad. You can unlock it with depot credits directly at the quartermaster. You can get it randomly out of a supply drop, or you can complete a daily challenge, or of course you could just buy a bunch of supply drops until it comes out eventually. Lots of choices, but let's jump straight into the damage profile on this weapon because it's very unique. It'll deal 40 damage up close, decrease down to 35 at a distance, and then down to 22 at range, but you'll note right there, there's no 4-shot kill range. It's either 3 or 5 shots to kill, and I'm going to call the damage on this one very low because it most certainly will feel very low when you use it. There is no 4-shot kill range. I checked everything, I looked at the stats, I had to kind of wipe my eyes real quick to make sure I'm not crazy, but no, there is not a 4-shot kill range on this weapon, which is very, very unique because very rarely does a Call of Duty weapon skip a damage decrease range. That means the feels on this weapon are going to be radically different depending on your range. It can feel quite good up close or abysmal at a distance. Headshot damage is 1.1x like most of the other weapons in the game, and like most of the other weapons, the headshots are useless. At no range will getting a headshot cause you to get any less shots to kill, so I recommend not going for them unless you're running high caliber. High caliber makes it 2 shots to kill, which is much more useful. Given the accuracy of the weapon, it's not that difficult to do. The 3-shot kill range is 50 meters, which is the same as the M1A1, and there is no 4-shot kill range. After 50 meters, you immediately ramp up to 5 shots to kill, which I promise you will be very, very annoying, but 50 meters is a very long range, so most of your engagements will be within that 3-shot kill range. Rate of fire is 444 rounds per minute, with rapid fire taking it up to 447 rounds per minute, and keep in mind this is semi-automatic. This is going to be a little bit closer to the higher end of the average player's trigger finger, so I would tell you that it's perfectly okay to spam this as hard as possible, and it's not likely that many of you will be oversampling it. Performance-wise, this weapon is very similar to the M1A1. It's almost like an M1A1 clone, but with slightly different performance variables to give it its own unique twist and flavor. So if you're getting killed by this weapon, if you're performing poorly, if something's going wrong, just break out the M1A1 and you'll be immediately able to compete with the Gewehr. As far as time to kill goes, like the M1A1, time to kill is going to be very slow at most ranges, but it's going to be a little bit faster than the M1A1 at less than 50 meters because it shoots faster than the M1A1, but it's not truly competitive with the STG, with the M1 Grand, with the BAR, or the FG42. It's just a slow time to kill weapon. It's not going to kill people very quickly, and my recommendation is you really should spam this hard instead of trying to be precise with it. Because it takes so many shots to kill, if you take your time trying to be precise, trying to get headshots, trying to pick people, trying to track them perfectly, they're probably going to turn on you and murder you or get away while you miss one or two. My experience is that the harder you spam and the quicker you pull that trigger finger, the better off you're going to be, and don't worry about the accuracy too much. Oddly enough, I kind of like the iron sights. I don't like a whole lot of iron sights in Call of Duty games. I'm a big optic junkie, but this gun has better iron sights than I anticipated. However, it is still much better with optics. Because it is such a precision-based weapon, I really don't want to be using iron sights. I want to be using something where I can put a dot on somebody's head and blow them up. So I'm going to recommend optics, and I do not recommend the ACOG sight. Oddly enough, when you run the ACOG sight on the M1A1, it turns it into a God tier weapon, which is extremely competitive. However, on the Gewehr, that is statistically similar, I find that the ACOG sight shakes way too much. I find it awkward to use and difficult to handle, and I think that the reflex is a much, much better attachment on the Gewehr, and that is the one I'm going to recommend over the lens sight or the iron sights. When it comes to hip firing, good luck. You're braver than me. The gun only has 10 rounds in the magazine by default. It could take up to 3 shots to kill. The hip fire is intentionally very wide, and it's semi-automatic. Just good luck. I wouldn't do it. I would be happier just using the bayonet on somebody. I strongly, strongly advise you to not ever hip fire. Pretty much you want to aim down sights 100% of the time. Now, when we're talking about aim down sights and killing people, let's talk about recoil. It does have slightly more recoil than the M1A1, but it's still among the lowest in the game. The M1A1, which is what we're comparing to directly today, is a very, very low recoil gun in any Call of Duty game. It's basically a laser. The Gewehr is a little bit less of a laser. It does have some recoil from shot to shot. It does shake a little bit, but it's still incredibly low recoil, and I think a lot of you will find it very, very easy to control. Thankfully, the Gewehr doesn't have very much idle sway. Has just a super tiny bit, but I really wouldn't worry about it with this gun at all. Even at long ranges, it really shouldn't mess up your aim. Like the M1A1, the Gewehr can only outperform other guns if you take advantage of the zero recoil. If you are a very accurate shooter and you can snap aim and spam the trigger very, very fast, if you're set up behind a head glitch or you're camping at long range and they can't really return fire very easily, or if they're coming down a choke point, the Gewehr is very dirty because you won't miss your shots and the enemy's going to feel like you're just blowing them up with godlike accuracy. And with this gun, I feel that head glitching and camping is best, hence some of the war mode gameplay and some of the very conservative gameplay you've seen out of me. But since it does shoot a little bit faster than the M1A1, a good trigger finger can surprise people. It is theoretically possible to use this in close range, quick draw, in-your-face gunfights. It's not made for that, it's not the best at that, but it is somewhat doable, or more doable than most of the semi-automatics in the game. Magazine size is very small at 10. You only get 10 rounds in this magazine, which means at range, even if you hit every single shot, you can only kill 2 people, and up close you can kill at most 3 without missing. Extended mags is 15, it's a godsend, and I think that extended mags is a crucial attachment for this weapon. The magazine size is so small, it's so difficult to deal with, and it takes so many shots to kill. I try to run extended mags as much as possible. I don't have it on every class in this in-depth episode, because I try to change it up, get some varietous gameplay for everybody, but I would highly recommend you guys run extended mags. Reload time is 1.4 seconds, which is on the slower end of average, but still pretty close to average for assault rifles, nothing particularly special there. And when it comes to what division the Gewehr is going to work best with, I strongly recommend infantry. It might work for mountain as well if you use it for an alternative sniper, but infantry is just the way to go on this weapon. You need the attachments, you need the extra ammo because your magazines are tiny, you need to be able to sidestep really quick and pop people, you need the bayonet to be able to deal with close quarters combat. You need a lot of things that infantry offers, and I very, very strongly recommend running infantry over any other class. When it comes to how I run this gun, I have one recommended setup for public matches. I like running it with infantry, of course. I run it with primed for extra attachments. I run extended mags on it because I need those extra 5 rounds to kill people. High caliber so that my headshots actually deal damage and are significant. High caliber really helps on this gun, especially because it's a precise weapon and you can pop people off of head glitches, and you're going to want to aim for headshots since it's so accurate. Quick draw helps me in those really crucial gunfights. If I'm kind of peeking, if I'm up close, if I time it right, if I play like a pro player, quick draw can be useful. If I'm just running in all the time, not so much. And reflex sight is undoubtedly the best sight for this weapon. Unfortunately, new weapons are not allowed in competitive play, either at events or in ranked mode. Maybe that's not an unfortunately, maybe that's a good thing because, well, you don't want people with different or better guns than you doing it in ranked, so no, no pro loadout today. Guys, that's all for this in-depth episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out. If you want all the weapon stats for World War II in your pocket to go, then look no further than the Ultimate Utility app by Brass Monkey. It's available on iOS and Android. There are links in the description, or you can just search for it in the App Store.
On bomb. By the rail cars. Paratroopers en route. Mark the zone. Go. Paratroopers inbound. Sniper, stay low. Bomber mission ready for orders. Low altitude bombing run underway.